Okay, this is my practicum presentation. My name is Valerie Year. My table of contents and my introduction here. This is my fourth year of teaching, my first year at Fort Riley Middle School. I've had 3 years of prior experience with Council Grove, Alta Vista District. My goal is to become a building leader, administrator within the next 5 years, and just to be a leader among my peers. Um, my philosophy in education, I believe every student can learn. I believe you can't make everyone happy, so you have to focus on what is best for students when making decisions. I think if we set procedures and expectations from the beginning, it'll help ensure the stability and fidelity throughout the building. We need to develop a positive environment for both our students and our teachers. We need to make sure our teachers and our parents are feeling heard and valued. I think that's important that you'll have a lot less complaints if people feel heard and they feel valued on your staff. We need to ensure that our vision is made clear and is attainable, and that parent and community involvement is very important for students and the school. So my major objective or my problem for this semester was being new to the district, not only learning the new faculty and the students, but also all the new tasks that a new teacher has to face. Often feeling out of the loop is hard for someone who strives to be a leader. So that was something I knew I was going to have to deal with, not always being the leader, but having to sit back and learn as well. And the second concern I had was the fact that I came from a very, very small building, working in Alta Vista, Kansas, to a very large, diverse group of students and staff at Fort Riley Middle School. So, because I teach seventh grade math, I completed 5 district activities, 5 elementary, and 15 secondary. So first we'll have the 5 district level. The first one was a new teacher technology training. This was held before school started. It just was about a half a day of all the technologies that we would be interacting with on a daily basis as our new school year started. So the second activity was our Alvea's bully prevention training. We have the Alvea's bully prevention program implemented in our throughout the district, and so this was just a quick training over how to implement the program in our classrooms. Our district activity number 3 was the breakfast with the community. This was a new teacher breakfast. This was just a lot of community members and businesses were there to help welcome us to the school district and give us a variety of resources that we could use throughout the year. The fourth activity was a Kagan training. Spencer Kagan shared some of the research behind his classroom management system. He also gave a quick preview of some of the strategies. It was interesting to see the research behind some of the things that he chooses to support and to be able to do those in my classroom. So this was a fun day that the whole district spent together. And the last district activity that I went to was the instructional coaches meeting. I went with the instructional coaches from our building and went to one of their monthly meetings. It was interesting to see their the way they share and their kind of PD for just instructional coaches. So it gave me a better idea of the exact role of the coaches and how they're used in our district. And if you'll see on my picture here, I really liked their norms for effective collaboration, the 7 Ps. I really thought that was interesting. So as I move on to my 5 elementary activities, I went to a couple of elementary buildings in the district, and the first one I just went to was a faculty meeting, and just where they talked about schedules and things, and it was interesting to look at the difference of their schedule versus a middle school schedule and how just the planning is different for that. So I took a picture of our agenda and kind of how we write down our schedule and what's going on and all the changes in movement in our schedules. The second activity was our crisis plan overview. This was at the same middle school I went to, the faculty meeting, and so this was just another meeting held to discuss where and how they will handle different crisis issues. It was nice to see the leader made points clear, but tried not to scare the teachers or give them ways to not really scare the kids, but ways to talk about and prepare for crisis if they happen. I also, my third meeting at that same building was the writing of the school improvement goals. And this was interesting how they handled this. It kind of split into groups and focused on, a math, a reading, a behavior, and um, so it was interesting to see that. Oh, not sure what this is. Apologize for that. The result was I could better understand the process of how the goals were created and what kind of format I would want to use as a future administrator. And the formats were very different among buildings, so they looked at what kind of format they wanted to use as well. I went to a different elementary school to visit when they were talking about their committee reports, and I show a picture here of how they kind of align their different committees. And it was interesting to, it was a smaller elementary school, so everyone basically was on a different committee, and so for them to share out what was going on, and it made me realize the value in having people share what's going on, so everyone knows if you're not on the committee what's going on with that committee. So it was a nice day. And the second meeting that I attended at that elementary school was a technology training, as the district was preparing to have a one-to-one device initiative roll out for grades 3 through 5. And so this was just kind of some professional development on how the tablets were going to work, how the rollout was going to be, what information we needed to share with parents, and what more information teachers needed. So this was a very interesting meeting to see the process of how they were going to get these devices to students. My secondary activities, before school started, we had the open house back to school night, and this was held before school to introduce ourselves to our students and make sure expectations were known. It was a very helpful night for me as a new teacher in the building. So the second activity was just an administration meeting where I met with the other administrators in the building and just kind of talked about what we had coming up, comments on how things went in the last few weeks, and just seeing how having more than one administrator in the building, everyone kind of had to be on the same page. My third activity, I presented to the other new teachers in the building about the math practices and how they were important to implement in our classroom. And I just have a couple reflections here from some of the other new teachers in the building. Caitlin Reed is a language arts teacher. This is also like her second or third year teaching. And then Allie Henry is a social studies teacher, and this is actually her first year teaching. So just the different point of view of what they gained from my presentation on math practices and the importance of implementing them in our classroom. The next two activities were planning meetings that I spent with a couple, and one of the assistant principals and the instructional coach on what we wanted to focus on during our what we call the math focus meetings. And so this is my activity 4 and my activity 5. We met and we created a couple forms that we wanted to share with math teachers, and just what our focus was, what our goal was for this time that we got to spend together. And then activity 6 was the actual focus meeting, and giving these things that we had developed to our math teams, and so we could all be on the same page and we could all have the same goals, and we knew what was expected and how we could move forward together. Activity 7 was a technology fair. This was a day that the district had set aside for us to do some professional development with technology and programs that we implement in our classrooms. So this was a great day that we got to share what we're doing in our rooms. This was an NEA meeting. It was held to discuss current events and things that were going on with education. We had a bully prevention team meeting where we planned what we would do during our bully prevention time during the week, because we have a time set aside on Fridays where we do this. Our incentive program is a program that helps with behavior, and every 6 weeks after the grading period ends, we give some type of incentive to the students. This was where they could go go play basketball in the gym and hang out, or they had a dance in the cafeteria, and this was held after school. Our ribbon cutting ceremony was my activity 11. Since we have a brand new school building this year, we had a lot of public officials come and celebrate our building opening. Core E intervention planning. Core E is our NPSS intervention time, and this is where we looked at how we could serve our students and help them increase in their performance. Our problem solving MTSS committee, this is our math committee. These meetings are held to just kind of help us figure out what we need to be working towards as a math committee. My activity 14, it was home sporting events. I've done a number of things for sporting events, and I have a reflection from our athletic director about how important that is to have people working our sporting events. And the last activity was after school tutoring. This is held to help our team students who need some support after school. So before I completed my practicum, I didn't realize how the standards actually fit into our everyday routine and responsibilities. As I completed it, I realized that it's easy to link standards to activities, and what we do every day is our standards. They're not just some abstract thing. My conjecture is I don't understand the importance of these, but I wonder who keeps us accountable for them. So as I worked through my analysis, I felt like we have to hold ourselves accountable. That's something that we have to do to be an effective leader. And anyone who's been in education for any amount of time has probably encountered an ineffective leader. And so I think my goal to be the best leader possible is to check that I'm sticking to the guidelines of these standards and doing what I know is right according to the standards. This is my bibliography. I had a number of books and sources here, and then I will, each of the next slides just kind of talks about all of the different sources. So this one was a book called Leverage Leadership, and it was basically about the parts I talked about here were giving feedback. This is a Olveus Bully Prevention Program book that gives us our lessons that we can use. This was a website about boosting school spirit, and it was very interesting to me, some of the ideas they came up with. This was the book about putting the standards and how we can link them to different activities. This was very helpful. My principal gave me this to borrow to look through, and it was very interesting to see some of the things that they linked to different standards. Our Teach Like a Champion book. This is one of our book study books that we're using, and it gives a lot of different strategies to implement in a classroom. Classroom Management That Works. This is a Marzano book. Great management skills in there. What Works in Schools. This is all different types of parent community involvement, professionalism. It was a good read. This was about the characteristics of effective school leaders. So a website that I looked at I found interesting. This is a book about PLCs and how we can use PLCs in our school buildings. And the Classroom Instruction That Works book, how some classroom management things and what we should see in our classrooms. And then lastly, I have my summative evaluation from my principal and some notes from him at the bottom. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.